from the people. Sahara got the masses. Sahara.
Welcome back to another segment of the Skype section, which is when we give you the chance to call us and talk to us and give us feedback on what we have shown you today. And you should know that as this election, we get close to the election, we are going to do more of this because we want to hear from our viewers. Even though we value the experts, we still want to hear from ordinary people, people all over the world who are watching, who have the opinions on what is going on in Nigeria. Before we go back to our Skype callers, I have with me here in the studio Dr. Wumi Akintide. Most of you know him. Welcome to SaharaTV.
Thank you very much.
And also joining us via Skype is another contributor to Sahara Reporters, Bayo Oluwasanmi. Bayo, welcome to SaharaTV. Can you hear me, Bayo?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So let me start with you, Wumi. So this week we saw Buhari came back from England, and we saw President Jonathan doing what he's been doing, campaigning across the southwest towards Asaba and that area, which tells you that is the what they call the battleground state. You are from Akure, Ondo State. So how are people responding to the president's attempts to win voters in the southwest?
Well, it's not very clear how the people are responding because if the president is going on a campaign tour, most people out of curiosity will come out. And so the number of crowd you see is not an index of the popularity of the president. But the president is doing what he needed to do because people have been accusing him that he doesn't want this election to hold. And if he sits tight at Abuja, not going anywhere, then he will lend credence to what people are saying. So he has to be up and doing, going all over the place, trying to let people know that he's actually fighting for this election and that he wants to win by all means, which is his right to do.
All right. Bayo, and let me ask you, because we spoke to Joey Bukwe, who is the publicity secretary of APC in Lagos State, and that interview will come up next. We spoke to him, and he said that the president came to Lagos State and was sharing money, and that they are trying to influence the election with money. What is your own reading of what is going on in the southwest?
Well, from history, Southwest leaders are known to be easily bought with money. And so Jonathan is trying to cash in on that. On the Facebook today, you can see some traditional rulers praying for the president. And some of these traditional rulers have been given a lot of money so that they could persuade their citizens to vote for Mr. Jonathan. So no one should be surprised to see Mr. Jonathan going around with tons and tons of money in the Southwest to influence the election on March 28th.
Okay. All right. The other thing that happened also was the Meet the President. I don't know if you're aware of that, where the president met with young people in Lagos.
Yes.
Did you see that?
That's right.
So what is your take in this effort to reach out to the young?
Okay, I will briefly comment on that, but the last point that he made with the president going to appear before the Honor of Ife and a few traditional rulers. You probably know, Rudolph, that I'm a prince too, and I know you have one humble prince here, but another prince.
Yeah, the real one. That one is...
the real one, okay. All right, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that some of these traditional rulers will pray for devil incarnates. If devil were to reincarnate and come back, they will pray for them if they have money to give them. The whole position has been so bastardized that anything goes. I'm not too proud of that as a member of the royal family in Akure, but that is what we have to live with. And then now to come back to your point that
meet the youths.
Meeting the youth, yes. I think that actually started with the president was trying to respond to the effort that APC have been making through Twitter, Facebook, and the internet. Because most of the people who use all those outlets,
social media,
they are all youth, they are all young people. There are people, not few, I mean, not too many people of my generation know how able to operate the computer. For example, when I go home now, some of my colleagues who see what I write, they wonder how do you manage to do it. So it's not the computer age is not for old people. So that generation is trying to respond to it because it appears that the PDP now agrees that APC has beaten them flat on the propaganda machine, and they are trying to respond to that. I think that's what the president is trying to do by gathering people together. In fact, there was one that he did. Some of these newly trained helicopter pilots, he brought them together to start singing his praise. What he did, he doesn't necessarily deserve the praise for training helicopter pilots because he's doing it out of public fund. And the praise should go to Nigeria, not to him. But I think the president will claim anything right now if it works out for him.
Bayo, I will ask our guys to show the picture of the president exercising today in Abuja. And I want to give you a comment on all these efforts by the president to look young, to bring the issue of age. They are making this question of age as one of the political issues of this election. What is your take on that?
I'm looking for the picture. Is the picture up now?
Yeah, it's up. Yeah, go ahead. You can keep talking. It's up. People are seeing it.
Well, the president has no choice right now than to use all jokers in his bag to win the election. Now, the issue of age has become very important in the next election. But to reasonable people, age is not a question that should debar anybody from contesting the presidency. We have examples all over the world. People who are over 70 who contested for presidency and they won the election. We have President Ronald Reagan and President of South Africa, the other president there. They were in their 70s. So the issue of age is not a big factor in the election. What about Jonathan, who is younger? What have we gotten from him? Nothing.
Okay.
And we believe that Buhari, even with his age, will do a better job.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's go to our Skype callers and get them involved in this discussion. I want to, again, welcome Collejo. Collejo, welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you, Rudolph.
Brigadier General Adeka, welcome again to Sahara TV.
Thank you, sir.
Hansen in Switzerland, welcome to Sahara TV.
Rudolph, long time ago. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you disappeared. And Brentwood, welcome to Sahara TV.
It's a pleasure, Rudolph.
Okay. All right, let me start with you, Hansen, because you've not spoken before today. So I asked Dr. Ali, the campaign director of President Jonathan, about this issue of age. He is 79, and he was the one that said, he was talking about Buhari, he described him as an old plane that has been packed for so long. And I asked him, you know, if somebody should say the same thing about you at your age, you are doing a good job running this campaign for the president, how will you feel? He said that he's not an old plane because he has been involved in government activities since he retired. So, Hansen, what is your take on the issue of age? Is that a very important thing for you as we go towards the last 3 weeks of this election?
Rudolph, you know my stand right on time. You got a point. To me, I've said it several times that APC made a serious mistake for presenting Buhari. That is my stand. My reason is because someone made mention of Ronald Reagan. That was many years ago. We are in 2015, for God's sake. I've said it. I'm saying it does not mean that I'm campaigning for Goodluck Jonathan. I have nothing, I have nothing to do with Goodluck Jonathan, but I'm saying it since the beginning. I've been saying that. To me, that is my own personal opinion, okay? Buhari is not fit enough to be Nigerian president. And I hope that he wins the election, because if he wins the election, people will see that what I'm saying is the truth. He's not fit enough to be the president, and that is the truth. So we should stop pushing him. But he's due already. Let's see what will happen.
Okay, thank you so much. Braithwaite, you have not had a chance to talk. What is your take on all this?
Well, I will draw. When I was in Nigeria, there's one of my father's book he bought, Olusegun Obasanjo, My Command. If people go through that book, you see at that time, 1960 something, and compared to now, you know that by the time Obasanjo contested for president, he was far above 70 years. So to me, I think maybe it should be the nature of maybe Buhari's body, not the nature of age. Look at, you're talking about Ahmadu Ali now. If we check that, that means Ahmadu Ali is even older to Buhari. So maybe it might be that Buhari may not be naturally strong like people like Obasanjo. If by my calculation, Obasanjo should be 80-something. So what I'm saying, the problem remains that a lot of our leaders have failed. That's why it's only Buhari that we feel stands out against corruption. So for now, we don't have choice. So if at least he can go to do little things, other people can continue from that. So he is the only person people are sure that can tackle corruption. So to me, I think we don't have choice for now. That's my own take.
Okay.
Bishop,
Bishop,
please, can I just say something, please?
okay, Hansen,
Okay.
go ahead.
Please, what I want to say is that it's a shameful thing to Nigerians. You know, a country of almost 200 million, that out of 200 million citizens, Nigerians cannot find a young, vibrant candidate that can contest for presidential to make so.
Hansen, I know your line is bad, but let me ask you, because even from people in PDP are saying now, especially as they look at the campaign, that probably they will have done better with another candidate under the PDP instead of President Jonathan. So at any election, I think there are options for each political party, and the calculation at that point may be in favor of one particular candidate or the other. Okay, I think we lost Hansen. So let me go to well, we can. Oh, Hansen, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, did you hear what I was saying?
Yeah, I heard you. I heard you.
Okay, so what I'm saying is when people said exactly what you're saying, I remember that in the last election we had Ribadu running,
Yes.
and people did not embrace Ribadu. He was a young man.
Yes.
We had people like this guy from Delta State, Patu Tommy running,
yes.
and people did not embrace him.
Right.
So it's easy to say that we want a particular candidate, but the reality on the ground is that people know who they want to follow, and most of the time they follow that person. Yes. Do you understand what I'm saying, Hansen?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Okay. All right.
Should I respond?
Yeah, well, respond. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, anyway, so this is a democracy, in fact, okay? I respect people's choice. At the end of the day, I continue saying it, at the end of the day, if Gary wins the election, of course I will congratulate him if I have the possibility. I have some of my friends that are, I have some of my friends that are supporting him. I will congratulate them. But for my own, to me, as a person, it's paining me, in fact, that today we arrive to this situation that a 73-year-old man who's supposed to be a statesman is running for presidency. You know, it's not about party. It's not about PDP. I don't care about PDP. But assuming that APC bring out someone that is younger, I will be very, very proud of them. That's my own take.
Okay, thank you so much. Brigadier Adeka, let me ask you, when we spoke to Ali, he talked about all the achievements of the president, and I asked him, do you think that the president is claiming that the problem is that people are not doing enough to advertise his achievements, or that the product is bad? he said that the product is good, it's excellent, that they are doing a lot to advertise his achievement. What do you think is wrong from the perspective of someone who is looking to consider the PDP and their choice with the campaign of the PDP?
Okay, please, before that, let me just pass a word about this age and the fitness of the team.
Okay.
I think many of us are very ignorant about fitness. Fitness is not a political campaign matter that you come out to start jogging around because the election is coming. Fitness is a thing that is part and parcel of your life. Age is not just the issue, because as we talk, the chairman of AU is 91 years old. And we have accepted him, Mr. Mugabe. I think he celebrated his 91 year, I think yesterday, 2 days ago. I think Mrs. Gani Fawahimi, the widow of late Gani Fawahimi, who in one of the programs, I think last September, who said that Nigeria does not deserve a drunkard and sleeping president. You see, there are things you do as a way of life that affect your fitness. It is not just your age. If you look at General Buhari, go and check the generals, both those are serving and those have retired. How many of them don't have pot bellies? For somebody like Buhari to be moving around like a young man structurally, if you don't know anything about him, I think it's better not to pass comment based on him. Then,
all right. Thank you, Adeka. Thank you so much. Let's go to Bishop. Bishop, I want to ask you the same question we're asking our viewers at home, which is, what is your reaction to using the temporary voters card instead of the permanent voters card? We've had complaints from people, especially in the other parties other than APC, saying that the cards are not ready, people don't have the cards, that the card reader is not working, it's not functioning. So what is your take on that question?
Well, Rudolph, thank you for forwarding us for hear about the issues of Nigeria and what's happening back home. Let me on that. I believe Nigeria has come of age to know what is bad from wrong. I said this to me, if such PVC used in Mali, Nigeria is more, when it comes to technical wise, Nigeria is more far wiser and technical wiser than Mali. See no reason why such in catch, you know. I'm amazed and I'm dazed that even up to now, people are still saying that they've not gotten their voters card. Which is, I wonder if election is 3 weeks to if we are talking about 3 weeks to election, people are yet to get their cards. When would they get their card? Is it after the election they are going to get their card, or what's going on with the Nigeria situation? Are they holding the card not to use? Come on, we should do something. The leaders are not doing enough to make sure that this Nigeria work. They are just holding up to themselves to make use of what they've got, the power. They are misusing the whole thing, which is ironically bad, and it's sad, and it's pathetic. Thank you. That's my thing. And again, sorry, I meant to say this before I wrote it down. This issue of stomach infrastructure in Nigeria is becoming worse day by day. Listen, in this part of, don't do election in my house each time I come. Sorry, you don't do a lot of campaign, posted bid, and all of that. And when it comes to advancement, this side is more advanced. Then it started from. I read their history. They didn't start the way Nigeria is today. You don't do election. When I come to my house, I see leaflets pass through my inbox. That's how they do election. That's how they do their campaign here. They're here in Nigeria. They're distributing yams, distributing cow. What has that go to?
All right. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, Bishop. Now let me ask you, because Boko Haram, the military, they are making serious progress fighting them. In fact, Dr. Ali said that in 2 weeks we may come to the end of the Boko Haram issue. So I asked this question to our viewers last week, which is, if we see that maybe next week or before the election, that the Chibok girls were all freed and that Boko Haram leader Shekau is killed or arrested. Would that change the way people will see President Goodluck Jonathan? Would that make him win this election as a landslide?
I'll give you the same answer I gave you last time about that particular question. It's medicine after death, as far as I'm concerned, and too little, too late. That's that. But please, Rudolph, just give me a chance to talk about the age factor that you mentioned earlier on. You know, I work for Sahara today. You know, I'm about the oldest person here. And I'm exactly the same age group with General Buhari. General Buhari is only 2 years older than me. So that tells you my age. Now, I belong to a group of Nigerians who say that you are as old as you feel. Now, the issue of age, it depends on how far you have used yourself when you are growing up. The president, we all know that he drinks a lot of ogogoro, and I'm told. I'm not saying this to badmouth him, but I'm saying it because people know that he drinks a lot. Just like Olusegun Agagu was our governor. He was an alcoholic. And when you're an alcoholic, that affects you a whole lot. I don't care if he's going on the treadmill and he's walking and he's touching his toes and so on, that's fine. But what I'm saying is that it's a little bit insulting, really, to say that somebody who is just 72 years old is too old to vie for the position of president. Now, Ronald Reagan, that's one. Mandela, by the time Mandela came out of prison, after 27 years at Robben Island, grinding stone, the master came in and gave 6 of the best years of any South African president. I mean, come on, what are these people talking? I feel a little bit insulted by that, to say that because he's 72, he's too old. And Fayoche goes around telling the whole world that he went to London, and if you are going by Fayoche, you would think that he would have collapsed. Why addressing people at Chatham? But the man went there, youthfully dressed, handsome man. He's looking as good as Mr. President. So age should not be a reasoning factor. Then the PVC, using the interim instead of the actual PVC. I will agree with Mr. Bishop, who says, by now, the issue of this permanent voters card ought to have been settled. Come on, this election was supposed to have been held on February 14th. What if the election was never postponed? How could we still be talking about this? INEC has a problem, and INEC has to address that. Now, we are lucky, today is 7 or 8, so we still have about 20 days. I hope within the next 2 weeks, they'll be able to actually sort that out and give us a better report on the situation on the PVC.
Okay. Bayo, let me come back to you. As of today, looking at the geographical spread in Nigeria, can you help us understand the kind of permutation or combination that could lead to the president winning this election?
Well, the odds are very stark against Mr. Jonathan. First, the northern states are going for Buhari. They are solidly going for Buhari. 2, the southwest will go for Buhari. But the eastern part maybe will be split between PDP and APC. So when you add the north, the southwest, and part of the eastern states, you see that Buhari will win the election. It's going to be a landslide. There's no way.
All right. That's College Joe, do you agree or disagree with Bayo's assessment?
Well, I don't know what I'm going to say. Just going to win like that. I'll leave it wide open till the finger the result. We can't just judge based on based on the campaign and people campaigning this. So those individuals are changing their minds for what I'm saying too. And then you have what they call them again, people coming out saying that we are actually supporting Buhari because Jonathan was not and Jonathan's people have never voted for any evil person throughout our history. So there are people changing their minds too. That's true. So we're going to wait and see what's going to happen, because before, let's say last year, you had people saying Buhari couldn't go to the East because they didn't like it. But it looks as if people are becoming more aware and they're educating more people about it. So I have to wait to the election date and the election result. What's going to happen? I can't just say it's going to be like that.
Okay.
It's not going to be democratic for me to say.
Okay, thank you so much. I think we have to round it up here because I'm being told that we're out of time. So I will come to each of you and ask you what's keeping you up at night. I will start with you, Braithwaite. What's keeping you up at night?
For now, I think the security of the election, to make sure the election is held so that either ways who wins, either the APC or PDP, there won't be outbursts of violence that will engulf all of us. That's my own concern.
Okay, thank you so much. Hansen, what's keeping you up at night?
Yeah, good luck. I mean, I say good luck.
He does this intentionally
Anyway,
every week.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's the coming election, in fact, because, you know, the polity is sitting up. And I'm afraid that that all these things might turn to, you know, mess. So I hopefully that at the end of the day, the election will go on well and Nigerians will go there as usual.
Okay. Brigadier Adeka, what's keeping you up at night?
Yes. What's making me sleepless actually is the fact that as we speak, the Nigerian army has not denied the fact that Captain Segir Koli was a bona fide officer and carried out the official duty during which he recorded that video. Now, if the election of Ekiti is to be used as a rehearsal for the general election, then there's a problem because this election was flawed, deliberately orchestrated and rigged. And Mr. President, no less a person that Mr. President has said what happened should not be investigated. Now, if these are the same handler of the general election, then Nigeria should prepare for the worst.
All right, thank you so much. Bishop, what's keeping you up at night? We don't have Bishop.
I'm here. I'm here.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, what's keeping me up all night? I keep saying all power belongs to God. I'm a Christian, and that's been my that was keeping me up all night. The issue of security, like Braithwaite has mentioned, is a concern that everybody should be really concerned about. Considering the family back at home, you think, oh, how safe are they? I saw a breaking news. I was reading an article. I saw a breaking that Boko Haram has declared an agency to the Islamic State. All of that might bring another issue to Nigeria. It's a really core concern for every one of us. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. College Joe, what's keeping you up at night?
I'll make you sure that it's the fact that probably, I don't know what's going to happen this week, probably we'll hear that they release half of the girls. And probably captured the Boko Haram. That alone will change the music of this election. That alone is worrying me, and the whole mechanism that put together to reach the coming election. So that's what's keeping me up at night.
All right, thank you so much.
John, what did she want to come out?
That's what I wanted to say, but we don't have time now. We'll get him next week. Bayo, what's keeping you up at night?
Boko Haram, poverty, corruption, unemployment, and fear that the election will be rigged by Jonathan.
Wow, thank you so much. Wumi?
Yes, all of the things they have said, yes, they are keeping me awake. But you are talking, Rudolph, you're talking to somebody who was the electoral returning officer, the census returning officer for Ijumu, Kaba Ijumu local government. That was in 1973 or 74.
In what state?
In the former Kwara state.
Okay.
Now we counted in the place where I presided over, we counted only 1,200 people. And that was what we sent to Ilorin, which was the collation center. By the time it was announced at Ilorin, they added one more zero, which makes it 1,200 became 12,000. Such a thing can happen here. Not only that, you're talking to somebody who comes from Ondo State, I come from Akure, the capital of Ondo State. August 16, 1983, when Omabori Owo was rigged to power, was the announcement. We knew the announcement. Adekunle Ajasin won that election by thousands of votes. But by the time it was announced in Abuja, it was Omabori Owo that was announced. And you saw the mayhem that followed. Agbayewa was killed. Robert Akesoge Agbayewa was murdered. Agunbi Ade, the lawyer, they cut off his head and they were dancing with his head on the street of Akure. And Honorable Fagbangbe, they were all murdered. Now, we come to Nigeria now. With all these mixed messages being sent all over the place, I am worried that what happened at Ondo State on August 16, 1983 could jolly well repeat itself. And if you add that to all the things, all the points being made by all my colleagues in this talk show, I have cause to be worried. That's what worries me.
Thank you so much. I want to thank all our guests. Kolijo, thank you so much for joining us. Bishop, thank you so much for joining us. Brightwood, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, Brigadier Decker, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Hansen, thank you so much for joining us.
Rudolph, merci beaucoup.
Yes, yes. And Bayo, thank you so much for joining us.
Anytime, Rudolph.
Okay, and Wumi, thank you so much.
Thank you.
When we come back, we are going to show you an interview with Joe Ibokwe, who is the Publicity Secretary of the APC in Lagos State. But before we do that, we want to thank all our viewers today for watching. This is, we've come to the end of our show today. I hope you join us again next week when we are going to bring you more interesting shows and programs. And of course, just to let you know, we will be here for you throughout the election. We'll start on Friday and we'll be here until we know the winner of that election. So stay tuned.